Have you been crying a lot lately? In this video, I am going to talk about the difference between a healthy and unhealthy cry, and also why crying can actually be very positive. So let's get started. Though we don't remember the time before we were born, while we were growing in the womb, that was the time in our life when we probably felt more comfortable and protected. But then we were born, and that's when things got complicated. As we age, we are constantly and abruptly assaulted with the realities of the world. That's the thing about life. We all experience a bunch of feelings such as joy, sadness, grief, and frustration. The challenge is trying to keep all these emotions in balance. This is not an easy task, and sometimes we just break down, and there's nothing like a good cry to make us feel better. So we cry, and then we feel guilty and ask ourselves, am I weak for crying? How embarrassing. These questions are very common, as a big part of our society considers shedding tears to be a sign of weakness, in particular for men. But in fact, you actually need to be a brave man or woman with a strong self-awareness to allow yourself to cry. Crying is a cathartic experience and a highly evolved behavior with many health benefits. However, the frequency with which a person cries, how they feel after crying, and whether it helps them to cope with an emotional event or not, is directly influenced by their beliefs about crying and their social context as well. Researchers at Tilburg University have done an interesting study on crying, and the results are very impressive. They found out that on average, American women cry 3.5 times per month, while men cry around 1.9 times per month. Women in China only cry about 1.4 times each month. Then in Bulgaria, men reportedly cry a mere 0.3 times per month. As you can see, the averages by country vary considerably. Another interesting fact is how the Japanese, for instance, approach this subject of crying. They are strong believers in the health benefits of crying, and some cities in Japan now have crying clubs called ruikatsu, meaning, literally, tear-seeking, where people come together to indulge in good old-fashioned sophists. That's right, nowadays you can either choose joining a laugh club or a crying club. Both are based on the premise that releasing your emotions is good for you and can make you healthier. So if releasing our emotions is healthy, why are we constantly fighting them and trying to suppress them? We are meant for all emotions, not just the positive ones. Most of us cry too little and end up suppressing emotions that we perceive as negative, which can then lead to depression. The thing is that, when we numb selective emotions, we are actually numbing all of them. Why can't we just allow ourselves to cry and experience all of the emotions we are meant for? By suppressing emotions, blockages will build up in our body and mind space as we and our personality develop. As we have experiences which hurt us, such as intellectual pain, emotional pain, or physical pain from body injury, our survival instinct kicks in and tries to find a strategy to avoid being hurt again. We are by instinct pain avoidant at a subconscious level. Another thing many of us are doing unconsciously is not being aware of our thoughts and feelings at a deep level, so most of the time, our thoughts go on in autopilot mode. We get stuck in patterns and ways of thinking and feeling that we repeat daily without noticing. As an example, if since you were a kid you thought that crying is a sign of weakness, that thought will not change until you really observe it, acknowledge it, and question how limiting that belief might be. Most of us are little aware of what is happening in our internal space. We deal with constant chattering in the background, with mental arguments and repeated thoughts. This type of storytelling then affects the balance of our emotional energy. If you have read some of my articles, you must be familiar with this concept of thoughts impacting reality, according to its nature. Therefore, it's essential to balance your energy the best you can. So how do you balance things out? Well, start by understanding that crying is a natural response that humans have to a range of emotions. Whenever we suppress this natural response, we block the natural energy flow through our body for self-expression, for instance, for our physical, intellectual, and emotional aspects. By doing that, we are channeling or directing the energy flows in the body, artificially with our mind. The result is the buildup of blockages or unused areas in our body, mind, and feelings. Where we don't allow the energy to flow, then we create a blockage, and energy stops flowing through it. Then, this will become a spot where disease in the body is more likely to develop. On the other hand, if we overuse an area, then it happens that this area gets worn out. It's like creating a rut. In both cases, we are stopping energy of flowing freely and creating imbalances in all aspects of oneself. So try to acknowledge the benefits of crying and start embracing your emotions. The Japanese have already realized these benefits, and now it's about time that we do the same. It's okay to cry. And its benefits begin at birth with a baby's first cry, remember? If you feel the need to cry, don't hold back your tears. So now let's look at some benefits of crying. Number 1. It has a soothing effect. A 2014 study found that crying may have a direct self-soothing effect, as it activates the parasympathetic nervous system, which helps your body rest and relax. Number 2. It helps to relieve physical pain. Don't be ashamed about crying when you break a bone or burn your hand. Research has found that when you cry, the body releases feel-good hormones, like oxytocin and endorphins, that increase pain tolerance and help promote a sense of well-being. Once the endorphins are released, your body may go into a kind of a numb stage, as oxytocin can give you a sense of calm. Number 3. It helps release stress. If you find yourself feeling a good sense of relief after a good cry, there's a scientific explanation for that. Crying lowers the cortisol levels. As stress hormones are found in tears, crying literally releases a lot of that stress. Number 4. Enhances mood. It might not be particularly fun to feel sad or stressed, but it's good when people are able to access an emotion that they have not felt safe sharing previously, or that they have not wanted to face head-on. By letting yourself cry, you'll find that you're able to better overcome those negative emotions, and your mood can improve. Crying is therapeutic and can lift people's spirits. Number 5. It fights bacteria and improves vision. Crying keeps your eyes clean and helps to kill bacteria. This is because tears contain a fluid called lysozyme with powerful antimicrobial properties. Tears also help to keep the eyes moist and prevent mucous membranes from drying out. Number 6. Restores emotional balance. Crying doesn't only happen in response to something sad, you can also cry when you are extremely happy. Researchers at Yale University believe crying can help to restore emotional balance. When you're incredibly happy or sad about something and cry, it may be your body's way to recover from experiencing an imbalance. So these were 6 health benefits of crying. Now let's look at the difference between a healthy and unhealthy cry. Sometimes it's not easy to spot the difference between a healthy cry and an unhealthy one, but it's important that you are able to recognize the differences. A healthy cry is soothing and can take the pain away and help you heal faster. An unhealthy cry, stemming from self-pity and a victim mentality, can sometimes lead to you blaming others for your problems, without figuring out how to handle them yourself. If you are spending your time crying in resentment and anger, it can be very self-destructive, so be aware of that. So when should you seek help, if you're crying a lot? Well, it depends, as every situation is unique. Crying in response to something that makes you happy or sad is normal and healthy. Don't shy away from shedding tears if you feel the need to. However, if crying starts to interfere with leading a normal life, it's advisable to chat about it with your doctor. Excessive crying may be a sign of depression. In some other cases, it might be that you are going to one of the common stages of spiritual awakening, such as the dark night of the soul, when you start purging all the unhealthy emotions from your past in order to become the new and better version of you. Be aware of that, as in our Western society, we tend to confuse the symptoms of depression with the symptoms of spiritual awakening very frequently. It's important to be able to understand that sometimes, when we think that we are depressed or going crazy, we might just be going through the beautiful awakening of our true identity and starting our consciousness evolution journey. People are awakening now more than ever, and this is a beautiful thing. In the process of finding out what is happening to you, I suggest trying meditation. I can't stress enough how powerful meditation is. It will help you observe your thoughts and emotions and acknowledge them. As you practice, you will then learn how to easily organize those thoughts, accept them, and release them, in order to focus on the present moment and live life fully. Anyway, I hope you found this video helpful. Remember, the next time you're feeling overwhelmed and fighting back tears, do yourself a favor and keep these points in mind. Then go ahead and have a good cry. For now, take care. See you in the next video.